Welcome to DevOps Pilot. So today we'll see Shellscript part 4. So today we are going to see what is function in Shellscript. So function is used to group the set of commands or logic, and it will be executed only when it is called. Okay. And this when generally we used to, like, in any programmatic language, we used to create this function generally for like grouping some set of logics or commands, or and even for some reusability purpose. Generally for reusability purpose, like if you want to like repeat some set of commands, right? You don't want to write those commands repeatedly. You can put it into one function and you can call that function and those set of commands will be executed. We'll see the syntax now. So this is the basic shell script which contains the function. So here I am creating one function. So for two things is there. So when we write a function, it will not be executed directly. We have to call the function. Okay. So each function will have the function name. So here I'm creating one function called greeting, and you have to like put this double parenthesis so that this behaves as the function here's the first, okay, and then you will open the curly brace and close it, and inside this one you can write a number of commands, so like whatever the Linux commands we have seen, right? So we can just write it, and for now I just written only one command, like you just echo command hello and then $1. So we will see what this $1 will specify, and then calling the function. So by default when the shell script starts, right, so it's like top to bottom approach, like it comes and first checks the shebang and then just go this one. So here this function definition, right, so this starts with hash, so anything which starts with hash in the shell script is a commented, so that will not be executed. And after that it comes to this greeting. Since this is a function, so it will not be executed for now, this will not be executed. Then it goes to next, and this is also commented, so this will not be executed. And next it goes to greeting. So our function name is greeting. So wherever you just type greeting, it will call that function. So it be basically we are going to call that function. And after your function name, you can pass arguments. So here I am passing DevOps pilot. So after my function call, I am passing the first argument. So this is the first index, first argument. So inside your function, if you do $1, you will be reading this as a value. So now this $1 will replace to DevOps pilot. So in the screen, it will print a hello DevOps pilot. So now I can you call this function a number of times. I can call and I can pass different values. Okay. So once again, I'm calling greeting. So it will go to this one, but I'm passing different value this time, Vignesh. So it will print hello Vignesh. And once again, I'm calling greeting function and I'm passing different value shell script. And even you can pass second argument, third argument, a number of argument you can pass depends on your use cases. So for now, this is a very basic one. So I'm just passing only one argument. Okay. So just repeating. So this is the function definition. This will not be executed by default. We have to call the function by name, then only it will be executed. It's not mandatory to pass parameters. If you're passing, you can able to access that argument within your function. So I'm just calling greeting and then passing these three arguments. Okay, we'll see how we will execute and check. CD. So I already cloned my shell script GitHub repo. Yeah, and then CD shell script. So we'll go to tutorials folder, and then so now we have go to part 4 folder. So inside this, today we have 4 shell script. We'll see this one. Clear my screen. So one hyphen function dot sh. So this is the one we just discussed. So let's run dot slash one hyphen function dot sh. Okay. So first this greeting is calling. So it prints hello DevOps pilot, hello Vignesh, hello shell script. So even if you change something else, one hyphen. So let's change to Apple. Okay. So now this time it should print Apple Vignesh and shell script. Dot slash one hyphen function dot sh, enter. So now it prints hello Apple, hello Vignesh, hello Shellscript. So it depends on our whatever the argument you are passing, it will just dynamically update your function call. Okay, so this we syntactically only seen how to use function and what is the syntax. Okay, but we will see one by one the actual real use case. So now some more options we have in this function, how to return some data from the function. So here I'm creating one function called addition. So basically we will pass two numbers here. It will add those number and it will return. So in the last function we have seen, we are passing the data, but it's just printing there itself. It is not returning any data to like wherever it is getting called. Like I am calling from this greeting is executed, but it is not returning any data to me back, right? So it just execute that command and just ends, that's it. But here what I want to do is like, so this is the function. When I call this function, it we are going to pass two parameters. Our function name is addition. We are passing two parameters. One is 20 and then 5. So $1 you can get the first number which is 20. So it will assign num1 equal to $1 and 5 it will be assigned to number 2 equal to $2. So here you are creating these two local variable which is available only within your function, which cannot be accessed directly outside. So only within this addition block you can access these two variables, num1 and num2. So now you're creating one more variable called output equal to. So this is the syntax like dollar double parenthesis. So here you can do your mathematical operation. So I'm putting num1 plus num2. So these two number will be added and it will be stored in a output. So now output variable will have 20 plus 5, 25 it will have here. But even I can just do like echo and then print to 25. So that's possible. But here I want to show how to return some data back. Okay. Once this function is completed, it's not going to print the output, but instead it is going to return the data. So we have this special keyword called return. So this should be, the word should be return only. And the next one, we have to pass the actual what data you want to return. So here output is the data, right? This we want to return. So we just put dollar output. So when we call this function will return 25. It will do the addition and then it will return 25, but it's not printing as of now. So now after calling this function, right? Uh, till now we have seen dollar question mark means it will give the status code of the previous commands executed. But when you call the function, right? And then if you do dollar question mark, which will give the return data from the function. Okay, so by default, when you run dollar question mark, it gives the status code of last command. But when you're calling the function and in the next line, if you're running this dollar question mark, which will give the what you're returning from the function. So I'm just calling addition 25, so which is returning the value is 25. If you want to store that one somewhere, you have to run dollar question mark. Now this will have the value as 25. This I'm storing to a variable called result. Now I can print the output is dollar result. Now the result is having 25. So actually dollar question mark having the value 25, which I'm storing to result. And then I'm just printing the result variable here. Okay. Even you can directly do dollar question mark also here. That should also work. Okay. So here the thing what we have learned is like how to return the output from one full function and how you can read that return data and how to store it to a variable and how you can use it outside the function. I'm not using the data inside the function. Outside the function, I'm using it. Okay, we'll execute and see. Cat to function return dot sh. We'll execute /to function return dot sh. Enter. Okay, so it just executed everything and just prints the output is 25. But this output is coming in the last line. Okay, this is not inside the function, this is outside the function. So the data is calculated and it is like a return back and it was printed outside the function. Now third one. So by default a function can return only numerical numbers or string. Basically the words are the numbers. It cannot return some special type of data types. Last time we have seen, right, the array, which is a collection of some words, right? So those data you cannot return from this method, the function by default. So in that case, how you can achieve it? So maybe in some scenario, instead of here I'm passing only output, only one value, but you want to pass like 3, 4 value if you want to return, how you can do that? So the only way you can like create one array, you can store all the data inside the array and you can pass it. So here we will see how to return an array from a function. Okay. So I'm creating one function called calculate. So, so same I'll be calling this function and I'm passing two value 20 and 5. So it will be stored to num1, the 20, number 2 will be 5. So these two, I'm going to do 4 operation. Like I'm going to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So I will be getting 4 output. One is like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Okay. All this I'm storing into this variable. Output add, output sub, output multiplication, output division. Okay. So these 4 variable will have 4 data. So now if I want to return, right? But here actually the return function we cannot use because the return function can return only one value, which can be either number or the string. But in this case, I want to return more number of data. So in this case, how to do? First, outside the function, you have to declare the array. So I'm just declaring output equal to empty array. So when we create any variable with this parenthesis, right? So which is a array. So but inside this one, I don't have any data. It is completely zero, null. So this array is having no data. But here you can see both the variable name is same. So once I create all the data, I'm just going and updating this variable equal to, and I'm putting 4 data inside this array. So first data, I'm putting output add and then output sub and then output multiplication and output division. So now this, once this function is executed, this output variable, which is an array, will have 4 data. Okay, the which will be the addition, subtraction, multiplication, and output of the division. All these 4 data will be stored here. And how we can access, like once this is stored or updated, we can read the data from this output variable, right? So we already seen if you want to read any data from the array, we can use the index number to read. So output, and if you want to read this first data, you can use the 0. In array, it starts the index from 0. And second one, you can read with output 1 and output 2. And the final one, you can read with output 3. So similarly, you can read one by one. Okay. And then yeah, we will run the shell script and we'll see. It just prints this all 4 echo commands and you will be able to see the result. Okay. So here the key thing we learned is like how to return multiple data using the array, which is defined outside the function. So basically we cannot return the uh, array directly from the function. So we have to declare it outside and you can update and you can use that array wherever you want. Okay. Let's run. cat3 function return array.sh. Okay, and we'll run this 3 function return array. So now it has executed and it returned add is 25 minus and then multiplication and division. So we are able to see the result. It's very simple. Now maybe we will see one kind of real time scenario. Okay. So this script is a little bit big, but hopefully this will be easy only. So using this shell script, I want to like create the users in the Linux operating system, or I want to delete the users. Okay. So this shell script has the flexibility to easily create the users and delete the users. So before that, first we'll check what are the users present. So we already know when we create a users, automatically a home folder will be created with the same username, right? So let's go to cd/home. So here, based on the username, the folder will be created. So currently I logged in with Ubuntu user. So I am having this Ubuntu folder. Similarly, one more user is there OPC. And even if I create any other user, automatically that folder will be created here. And same thing, it will be updated in this /etc password file. So currently in the end, we can see OPC Ubuntu is there and some LXD, some user is there. So there is no other users. And here also we have OPC and Ubuntu. So now after running this script, it is going to create 4 more users and then it will be shown here. We will see. Now let's discuss about the script. So I'm creating one array called users list. Let's say using this script, you want to create like many users you want to create. So for now, I'm just creating 4 users, like a Raghav and Mani, Manoj, and DevOps. And even if you want to create some even 100 users, maybe or some 50 users, you can just define everything here. And so it will be like stored in this specific variable. And even using this script, I want to delete some users, which is not required. Even you can use the same array, or maybe you can define a different array. So one array is like users list, which is used for creating the new users. And this list is delete user list. I want to like, once this Raghav user is created, I want to just delete it. So only in my system, only 3 users will be left. Okay. So first is for creating new users, and second array is for deleting the users. I'm just having the data. That's it. And I'm going to create a separate function. So here only the actual real case is coming. So I want to create check creating first function, which is check user. So which will check whether the user is already present or not. And second function, which is used to uh, check whether the user is basically used to create the user. And third function is used to delete the users. So the function name is delete users, create users. And so till this one, right? So nothing will be executed. So from this top to bottom, because everything is just a function definition. So till this one, nothing is going to execute because this is also just a variable definition. This is also function. This is also another function. And this is also another function. And here only it's going to start executing. So it's just printing echo command. It's going to creating users. And then here I'm using the for loop because we are having the for array, right? So from the array, we want to read one by one username and we want to create easily. So we don't want to run the command repeatedly. So first for user in, so user list we have seen. So in the user list, we have all the user data. Okay, so that will be like we are reading the whole array, and then first it will come like the first user it will be coming, and then we'll be so okay. Maybe before that we will check the functions. Check user. So how you can check the user in the Linux system? So when you just type ID and then your username, you can get some data, right? And you can check echo dollar question mark, which means it's coming 0, which means this user is present and it is success. And if suppose if I type ID and some wrong username, it just puts some error. And if you check dollar question mark, it will have 1. So from this, you can conclude if the user is present, it will return 0. If the user is not present, it will return 1. So using this condition, you can write your logic. So what I have done, like if while calling this check user, I will pass the username. So that will be stored into this user variable, and I will run ID command and then username. So ID maybe first user is Raghav. It will run ID space Raghav. It will tell maybe first time the user will not be there, so it will return dollar question mark. So like it will return 1. So since the user is not present, okay. So this function is simple. Just check whether user is present or not, and it will return either 0 or 1. If the user is already exist, it will return the data 0. If it is not there, it will return 1. And for create user, so we will call this function and we'll pass the name, like whether the which user you want to create. So let's say here also we'll pass Raghav. So user equal to Raghav, it will come. And while creating the user, maybe you can pass some comment also. We will see those details here /etc password file. So here, so this is actually the command like of our refresh. So you can give some data, so that will be like shown here. Some information about this. So why we have created this user, like some details if you want to give, it will be shown here. So I'm just giving managed by script since like with this user and we are going to delete by this set script, right? So we will just put this user details are managed by the script. So we already know how to create the user. So the command is user add, and we have some additional arguments -c, you can pass some comments if you want to put into that slash etc password file, and what is the username, and whether you want to create the home directory for your user, like that slash home slash Raghav. So whether you want to create that one. If you're not passing this one, the folder will not be created. And then once this everything is done, it will print a created user successfully. Okay. And now we'll see for delete users. And this one, right? This function create user is like it will accept one username and it will create only one user at that time. Like using the for loop, you have to pass different username and it will create dynamically. But for a delete user, I will just call this function, even I will not pass any parameters. It should automatically read my this list, and then it will just execute the commands and it will delete all the users which is available in this specific array. Currently, it's only one array, rather. So, okay, so for user in delete users list. So this is array which is having only one data, and then it will come here. The first username will be stored here, user. And then once again, we will call the function here. So from the delete function, you can call wherever you want, you can repeat that function, right? I can check before creating the user also, I want to check whether user is present or not. And before deleting the function, I want to check whether the user is present or not. I will call this check user function, and we will pass the username only as of now Raghav is there. And then it will check user status equal to dollar question mark, the last command, right? So basically from here it will return. So here it will return one since the user is not present. Since the user is not present, so it will check if dollar user status equal to 0. No, basically the value is 1 since the user is not present. So it will go to else case and it will print the user doesn't exist. No need to delete, right? Because the user is already not there. Why we need to run this user delete command? No need to run. We can just print the user doesn't exist. But if the user is already present, this value will be 0, and this if condition will be satisfied, and it will go inside and it will delete the user using the user delete command. So using this function, you can delete the list of users present in this array. Okay. And so now only actually we are going to call our functions like just echo creating users. And then here we are having the for loop, like we want to create the users one by one, right? So from the users list, which is having 4 data, which is coming one by one. And first user will come like a Raghav, and then Mani, Manoj, DevOps, like one user it will come. So check user, we will call whether the user is present or not. And then here it will I will check. So it definitely will get one because the first time the user is not there. So it will get one, and we will check user status not equal to. So here you need to use the based on the logic. So here we are using equal to, and here we are using not equal to. So now user status is 1, so which is not equal to 0, right? Now which means we want to create the user. So we will call create user function, and we will pass the user. So first time it will come Raghav. We will call this create user, and we will pass Raghav, and the user will be created using this user command, user add command. Once the user is created, so the for loop will continue, go for the second user, third user, fourth user, fifth user, like all the 4 users will be created. But now if you rerun this shell script for the second time, all the 4 user is already created, right? So that time if you run, you will check, right? The user is already exists. So that time it will come 0. That time it will come here, and then it will go to this one, the user already exists. Okay. And so this is by default it will be running. So by default only this portion is going to execute echo, and then just going to create all your users. By default here I'm calling this delete users function, right? But I have commented. So for now it's not going to delete any users. It's going to create only the users. And after that I will enable this one, and we will see we will be able to delete the user also. But for now, this delete function I have commented, so it will not be executed. Basically, this full delete user function will not be executing. This is just a setting. It is not going to execute, but other all the lines is going to execute. And this create user is going to execute because we are calling the create user from here and check user from here. So both other 2 functions will be executed, but delete users will not be executed. Hope you got good understanding from the script. Now we will execute and see. So we already see we have only two users, cd shell script tutorials part 4. Cat for user management of test shell script. So the same shell script for which we discussed. See the screen dot slash 4 hyphen user management dot sh enter. Okay. Actually, when you run this user add command, right, you need sudo permission. So you need to execute this with sudo before so that user add command will work fine. Sudo start. Okay. So now it's creating users. So which we saw here, right? So first it's starting from here. So the top nothing is executed till now. So first it's starting from here, and then it will execute this check user and then create user and then check user, create user, like one by one it will execute. Now it's going check user, it's going and check whether ID Raghav is present. So no such user. And then it will go to create user and it prints created the user Raghav successfully. Then for loop will continue and then it goes to check money. So no such user, it created the money user and then checks Manoj and the Manoj user created successfully. Next, using the for loop, the last one, the DevOps goes and the user DevOps created successfully. So now how we can verify this one? Go to ll slash home folder. Here you can see, sorry, cd enter, go to cd home and ll. So here you can see now folder has been created based on the user DevOps, money, Manoj, and Raghav. Even we can check the slash etc password file. Here we can see, right, the 4 users has been created, new users. And this is what I was telling, like the command. So managed by the script. Like based on your use case, whatever command you want to give, you can give. So in all the places it is telling managed by the script. And it has created this home directory for each user. And yeah, and it has assigned some user IP and the group ID. And now we will see how to delete the users. Shellscript. And one more thing is like by default, this for loop is going to run every time. Okay, so whenever is this shell script runs, it will just check if the user is not there. It just go and create the user. So similar like this, even you can put this into the create user function and you can call it like in single line so that you will get full flexibility. So I wanted just to show how it works. That's why I just want for one purpose, I used for loop and for one, I directly just calling the method. Okay, and even this one, like the check user and we're passing the user, right? So once you get the status and you will be storing the status to this one. So in the previous script we have seen, right, how the it will return the data and then it is like stored to this specific variable. So using that, it will return the data. And okay, now we will delete the user. Shellscript CD tutorials part 4. VI for.sh. Delete users start list. Okay. Now we will uncomment that line. Okay. So now I have removed that hash. Okay. So we open delete users is fine. Now let's run the script. Sudo dot slash phone dot sh. So now it's telling creating users and this user Raghav already exists, user money already exists, Manoj already exists, DevOps already exists. Now it's last time you can see this is not executed. Now this time this was executing. So deleting users and then it's trying to delete Raghav and then this is some other error. So you can just ignore this one for now. And then we will check cd slash ll slash home folder. So here you can see now the Raghav folder is getting deleted. When you can check slash etc password. Here you can see only we have the 3 users, like Raghav is deleted. And when we rerun this script, right now, actually, it will try to create the user because like we mm, just so we have this for loop, right? So now actually Raghav user is not there, right? So now if we rerun, so in the user list we have Raghav. So it will create the user and then it will once again delete the user. So, but here just for the information we are kept in both place, but in actual case either it should be in this array or it should be in this array. Okay. And maybe now if you want to create delete more uses, we can just pass it and we can delete. So I don't want this DevOps user. I want to delete both Raghav and DevOps user. Maybe just I will keep Raghav and I want to just delete DevOps user. Okay. So now since the Raghav user is currently deleted, right? Now when we run this one, it will create the Raghav user, but other three user is already exist and now it should delete the DevOps user. Sudo dot slash for done. So now it's telling Raghav user, no such user, since it was deleted last time. So now it's creating the Raghav user and other three users are already exist and now deleting the user. So now it's trying to delete the DevOps user. Okay. Cat slash etc password. So now here we can see Mani, Manoj and Raghav is there, but DevOps is deleted. And similarly LL slash home. Here DevOps is deleted. Okay. Hope this session is helpful. Thank you.